The first thing that really intrigued me was the striking title, I would say, of the material, which represents for me many things altogether. You know, on one hand we have this famous myth, a character who is now kind of we end the certain, I would say we close a certain door with this character. It already contained some kind of a dead end for me as the title. But although the title is striking, the text appeared to be very witty and wise, let's say, and it was quite funny also to read. So audience might be at certain point reading this title be terrified that what to expect, you know. But of course this had it has a lot of humor in it, a proper dose of humor, I would say. It's a funny thing that we are working in actually more or less in 3 languages, because me and my composer are reading the Georgian text, and actors are of course reading German one, but we have English as a kind of a working language, so we have many languages in the process. There is a certain point where this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The language is another, yet another component of the whole production. I would say what we're dealing with is something that is doesn't need a translation in a way. What we are having on stage, what we as a directors are also working on, is something beyond the words. And the words for us is just another component of the performance. And I'm very happy because I think the actors I'm working with are also amazing exactly in that, because they function as a wonderful team, and I think we try to get somewhere beyond the language also. First of all, of course, we have live music in the show, and we have wonderful musicians. We like the idea to have this very strange arrangement, actually, because we have double bass, we have clarinet, and we have trombone, which don't often go together. And this was the idea of our composer, Nika Pasuri, who decided to have this kind of, as if they were ripped up from the orchestra, you know, so that they are not really, they don't really fit as instruments, but they fit in the performance very well. This we will see. I also like the idea of having the musicians as someone who came to the party, and they turn out to be on the funeral, let's say. So the musical pattern is also changing throughout the events in the performance, that we start from something which is more lively, more earthly, I would say, and we end up into very gradually the musical tone also turns into something which is more of a close to the funeral rather than party. I would say the interesting part for us was to actually contain the past somehow in this work, that there is this medieval flavor existing in here, coming from Christian drama, let's say, that there is also classical instruments, let's say. There is some, let's say, quotes, I would say, certain images in the set or costume, which reminds us of the past. But everything is functioning now, everything is functioning in the present. So kind of a culture is present as a certain shadow or as a certain ghost in the performance. But everything the musicians do, everything the actors do are still very much here and now, and what they say, of course. I would say for me it's the absence of catharsis, the most important part, or most important difference maybe with Hofmannsthal's work, that there is almost no catharsis in the end. Well, of course, it's a quite different systems for sure. I mean, as we are dealing with 2 completely different countries, let's say. It's of course in many regards, in social, economic, and many other regards, there are 2 different, let's say, roles the theaters are undertaking. I would say, but in the end, I cannot really emotionally find the real difference, because the moment we are getting here in the rehearsal room, you know, all of us understand that we're just a theater family, all of us, you know, that we, and whoever and from wherever we are standing in front of people and people are watching us. That's a universal moment. I feel myself very much at home, although coming from completely different theatrical structure, because Royal District Theatre for many years was an independent theatre, and it was completely free from any possible obligations, and it was a laboratory space where you could rehearse for years, and where you could do whatever you want, actually, of course, and for as long as you want. And of course something completely different happens in any state theater. So, but still, you know, there are these universal moments with the actors, and they are actually what matters for me. Oh, it's a good question, because it's really almost impossible to translate this title properly, because there are several words, and none of them really represents every man. You cannot say every man in Georgia. But I would say, you can say Vela vdeba, which is everyone dies. That wouldn't be the proper translation, but I like it the most, because it's, yeah, it's the strongest.